Hey there, hi there, ho there, everyone. How are you? It is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. Welcome to the show. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver with slowly but surely recovering voice. Thank you all for bearing with me last night when it was pretty rocky. It's wonderful to see everybody. Who do we have out there? Let's see. We got Paladin Steve, we got Rob Turner, Damien247, John Collins, Dying Breed Tabletop, Graph Paper, hope you're still here. If not, love you. Mac Thompson, good to see you out there. Bob Jester, hello, hello. And I hope everybody is doing absolutely wonderfully. Welcome to the show, everyone. Let me ask you a favor. Let me hit you up. If you haven't already, would you please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications about all the cool stuff that we do here on this live stream channel. And we have a ton of fun here on the show. And I'm excited that you guys are here, that we're joining each other. The Forgetful DM. Yeah, I swung by. I said hello. I said hello over there at Diversity and Dragons on his live stream. He was kind enough to give me a little bit of airspace to talk about Crom, which is one of our sponsors. Crom is the character record organization manager software for your Windows, Linux, or Mac OS PC, the latter through Wine. Guys, Crom is a tool that will break your first edition AD&D game free of the fetters of the slow process of character creation. Crom can create a fully loaded character ready to go in as little as 5 seconds. And it is something that you want right there. It's not just a random pull. But if you want a random pull, Crom can do that too. Crom can do a fully random pull. Or if you want to carefully craft a character, pick their stat generation method, go through the whole process, you can do that. And you're like, okay, great. It's a character creator. I like that. But what about what comes after? So I just get a character sheet. That's nice. You know, I paid for a piece of software that there's free kind of tools like that out there. And that's where Crom goes to the next level. You can add XP to your character, level your character, buy equipment, drop equipment, store equipment, sell gems and jewelry. You want to do milestone leveling? Crom will do milestone leveling. You want to add individual packets of XP? It will do that. And folks, if you have a multi-class character, 1 or 2 classes, it will correctly divide and let you know when it's time to level your character. Did your character get level drained? You ran into a specter? Crom will manage level drain for you. Did you change alignment? Crom will take care of that. Does your DM use psionics? You can activate psionics if your DM uses psionics. Do you have a human that wants to dual class? Crom will help you manage dual classing. Do you have a half-elf that wants to dual class in a bard, or a human that wants to dual class in a bard? Crom will handle dual classing in a bard and then bring you up through bard levels. Start a high-level magic user. Oh, what do I do for a spell book? Crom will generate a spell book. If you do fast character creation because you don't have time to do shopping, Crom will give you a basic equipment outlay. What about encumbrance? Yes, Crom manages encumbrance. What if I want to add a custom item? Crom will let you add a custom item. You want to buy a horse? You want to get barding? Crom will handle livestock. Crom does everything you need to get a character going, and it does it quickly. It's $25 US. It is all you have to do is drop me an email, bsylvie@gmail.com. I'm setting a goal tonight. I'm setting a goal tonight. I would love it if there's 10 of you guys out there who haven't purchased Crom yet. Would you consider doing that? Would you drop me an email, bsylvia@gmail.com, and let's make it happen. Let's turbocharge your first edition AD&D game. Save in text, save in HTML, print your character sheets out locally. Crom does it. All right. So that's our sponsor tonight. Anarion Olminare, I think I just murdered that. I know that is Quenya, and that is beautiful. I hope you notice I have Durin's Gate there. I hope you quite like that. Anyway, so that's our sponsor tonight. For the first time in a long time, and I'm very happy about this, guys, we have got a purposeful show tonight. We've got a purpose-driven show. I want to talk to you guys about Greyhawk because I saw something today that someone said about Greyhawk, and I said, that's kind of untrue. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and talk about what we can. I don't think it was maliciously untrue. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm excited about talking about that. So tonight's show, we're going to talk about Greyhawk, what it is and what it isn't. We're getting into the meat of some things, guys. And so I hope you'll want to stick around and talk about that. Mox Owl, welcome. And I do also want to mention we're 9778. We are 22 subs away from 9,800. We're 23 subs away from 9,801. And why does that matter? Because 9,801 means we're no longer hundreds away from 10,000. We're 100 and change. And that's pretty awesome. And then in the back of the show, in the back half of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about the GUOGC, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, and I'm very, very excited about that also. So we've got a lot of stuff to get to. I've been running my mouth for a while. Let's see, call to arms, advertiser, mentioning the GUOGC. Yep, I think that's all. So, let's talk a little bit about Greyhawk. One of the first things, one of the first things that a lot of people think of when they think of the world of Greyhawk is this booklet. This is Supplement 1 Greyhawk, and I'll zoom in real quick. This is the first time, other than an occasional mention here, though, that we as players got our hands on Greyhawk. Now, what this book is it is an introduction of new classes, a new race, the half-elf, new spells, new magic items. What it is not is a discussion of anything specifically Greyhawk. I know that might seem a bit unusual when it says Supplement 1 Greyhawk, and there's a beholder, there's a knight fighting the beholder. What's not Greyhawk about it? There is no lore in here. There are no maps in here. The closest we get to actual Greyhawk lore in this map, we're going to take a look at in just a second. But what this was when it was released in 1975 was a manual for expanding your game. It gave us half-elves for the first time. It gave us demi-humans able to class as other occupations. But it did not include anything very specifically Greyhawky. But let's take a look at what this is. This is this my autographed copy? Rob Kuntz autographed this copy. I have Rob and Gary's autographs on another copy of Supplement 1 Greyhawk, which I'm not going to dig out right now because it wouldn't avail you guys to see it anyway. But what I will do is we will come back over here and let's take a look inside Supplement 1 Greyhawk. And I will add this to screen and we will kind of have a gander at what it is and isn't. Now, one thing I want to mention at this point, a little bit of history, I think, is in order. Gary, the first living campaign world was David Wesley's Braunstein game. And what does Braunstein mean? Outside of the heads of the Bro SR. The word, compound word, Braunstein, means brownstone. Now, brownstone. The next major campaign world in TTRPGs, proto-TTRPGs, was Dave Arneson's Blackmoor. That's right. Brownstone, Blackmoor, Greyhawk. I bet you never thought about that before, did you? So, that's a little bit of history. Also, at this point, the realm map of Greyhawk was simply a map of North America set with fantasy locations. The city of Greyhawk is more or less where Chicago was. And because that was the big city, that's 40 minutes away from Lake Geneva. So Gary envisioned Greyhawk and Chicago kind of in the same, Yes, the Gamma World map. Well, I mean, because Gamma World is the future of Earth. So the first Greyhawk map was not by Darlene. As Gary evolved his Greyhawk game, he kind of came up with something different. He kept Lake Superior, but he started drawing it a bit differently. So we'll stick a pin in that and let's come back to it. And let's bring Supplement 1 up on stage. Now, I realize that a lot of people, if you're hopping on here, if you're a new subscriber, this may seem very much a deep dive, but this is kind of what we do talk about here. So here we are, Supplement 1 Greyhawk. Years ago, years ago, I did kind of a tongue-in-cheek, hey, it's 1975 and I've just bought this approach to look at this. So we're gonna look at this really more in a historical context now than LARPing as if we just picked this up from the comic store. And so Greg Bell artwork graces the cover. And it's, of course, Gary Gygax, Rob Kuntz. Special thanks to Alan Lucian, Mike Mornard, and Jeff Key for suggestions. This is a 12th printing, 76. It came out in 75, actually. Yeah, the Beholder just like, again, must I destroy another one? All right. I'm not going to read Gary's intro. Because I want to go over just the few introductions. Fighting men now include paladins. To be a paladin in the world of Greyhawk, you can be a normal fighting man, but you must have a charisma of 12. But also include now is the new class of thief. That's right, Bob. And Bob makes a salient point. Do I have a copy to hand? I bet I don't, or it's buried as because I'm in transition over here with all the bookshelves and whatnot. Don't want that to come tumbling out. Oh, there it is. That was actually hiding it. So this is a relevant side turn here for a minute. So I will bring that back up, but I want you guys to see this. This is also Greyhawk and Greyhawk history. Quag Keep, Andre Norton, first ever Dungeons and Dragons novel. The first ever Dungeons and Dragons novel is not Dragonlance. It is not Forgotten Realms. It's not even Dark Sun. It is Greyhawk. Andre Norton's view was based on Gary's, but it is also uniquely her own. Mike Salopek, hello. Mike Wilson Art says, one thing about 1E is that that is correct, is the ability score requisite for classes. Yes, yes. Anyway, let's get back to this. So to continue, we have over here, please. We have a booklet. We have new classes. We have some stuff explained. We have spells. We have a little joke at Jim Ward, who was playing in the Greyhawk game in the book. There's a carrion crawler, which is just another monster. But we get no Greyhawk in here. It is on the cover, and that's it. This, oh, did I scroll past it? Let me see if I can find it. And of course, I dropped my mouse. This is the sole Greyhawk lore in this entire book. The Great Stone Face Enigma of Greyhawk. There's no text under it. There's no text above it to say what it is. I will tell you guys the lore of this. Trapped in the Great Stone Face at the time of the campaign was Fraz Urblu, a powerful demon. Iraq, or rather Iraq's cousin, found the Great Stone Face. And Fraz Urblu gave Iraq's cousin great power in exchange for freeing him. Now, Iraq's cousin was played by the late Ernie Gygax, Iraq and Iraq's cousin. Bob, I don't know what level it's on. We would have to ask. We would have to ask Paul Stormberg. He would almost certainly know. But if your dungeon master or referee, if you will, is running a Greyhawk game and they choose to re-imprison Fraz Urblu in the Great Stone Face, beware. Did you know? Did you know? By the way, those of you who are curious, I'll talk a little bit about YouTube zaniness, maybe tonight, maybe another time. I stopped doing that because apparently that kills momentum on shorts. People swipe away when they hear that phrase. That was too overused by people. First cartoon depiction of an Easter Island. But anyway, so that's the only Greyhawk lore in Supplement 1 Greyhawk. And that's the way it remained. Now, if I'd done my homework a little bit better, I would have various PDFs of Greyhawk material in Dragon, the Strategic Review, The Dragon, and Dragon Magazine pulled up to kind of show how this built. So you'll just have to imagine. Forgetful DM, I can't. It is literally a suppressing tool. I love it too. Did you know I loved using Did You Know at the beginning of my YouTube shorts? However, the YouTube algorithm will sense that and automatically put your videos into a low rotation. It's a really shitty system, but it's one I can't help. So up to this point, we have very little Greyhawk until the release of Against the Giants. Against the Giants begins to hint at the larger Greyhawk world, but it's still not quite loreful. We've sort of got a sketch, an outline of the Grand Duchy of Jeff, the Hell Furnaces, the Crystal Mists, but not much more than that. 1979 brings more modules, White Plume Mountain, and its glorious artistic map done by Errol Otis. The Tomb of Horrors. Again, we're starting to pin locations. Something I thought was interesting was G1 the first? The G series, basically you could go in, like if you went to your hobby shop the day after they all released, you could get G123, D123. So you could buy all 6 modules that day, probably for the princely sum of $15. No, did you? Lore I will impart to you. Seagulls, stop it now. So, again, we were getting dabs. Like you guys have seen that video effect where it's a fade in where like splotches come on the screen. It's a very 90s video toaster style video effect where, you know, the screen is slowly revealed in splotches. That's what we're starting to get now with these modules. And then in 1980, we got there it is. We got this glorious beast in our hot little hands. Let me make sure you guys can all see that in one go. The World of Greyhawk, the folio set, as it's commonly called now. The World of Greyhawk campaign setting. Imagine going in and seeing that on a store shelf. It's bigger than the modules. It's a folder. It is a folder. By the way, in our weekly giveaways, you know how we started doing the Dragon magazine and other materials giveaway? There's a folio. You could spin and win a copy of the Greyhawk folio. But here it was. Let me do this real quick and jump in real quick. The world of Greyhawk, the heraldry. Look at it in all of its full color glory. This guy was a chonky boy. So I'm not going to try and put it back up there. I'm going to let Duran's Gate hold it. So this is what we got in 1980. And all of that nonsense about we have no lore, we have no idea, we're just getting it in drips and drabs, all that goes out the door, because now we have this beautiful folder, and inside the World of Greyhawk Gazetteer. And what a piece of work this is. We're going to zoom in a little bit. All these detailed kingdoms. The foreword, population of a settlement, Eastern Auric in relation to the whole earth and heavenly bodies, calendars, chronology and history, ancient and current languages, political divisions. Guys, understand something. At this point, aside from city-state of the imperial overlord, there is no such thing as a campaign setting. A whole world detailed in just these few bits and pieces here. Imagine getting this and opening this up. And so the introduction, or the foreword. So the players have been complaining that the campaign is too dull, eh? Not enough detail? Why is this country at war with its neighbors? How can trade routes exist without, or with all those wandering monsters? More importantly, why do all of those unsacked, unlooted dungeons and ruins stand so close to one big city all of the adventurers in the world hail from? Rejoice, dungeon masters, and relax. All of these questions can be answered by the following example in the volume in your hands. The world of Greyhawk is here and is suitable for use as the backdrop of a new campaign without changes, or as an alternative city, country, or geographical descriptions can be used to fill in for existing campaigns. The world of Greyhawk is in the form of a gazetteer written by a historian native to the region, and as such includes the calendar system used by the peoples of Oath, a history of the major nations over the last 1,000 years, a discussion of climate in the different regions of the world, and even an appendix listing many runes and symbols and their meanings, which are found in ancient magical writings. This was just drinking from the fire hose, guys. The amount of detail and information in this was unprecedented. So that all this information that or all this forward, this was written, of course, by Alan Hammock, February 6, 1979. So this would have been the 45th anniversary of it that just passed. Now we have settlement populations, if you need to determine that. We have a movement scale. By the way, I don't like how the Greyhawk weekends are split up like that. Free day and God's day back to back. But no, 3 days of work, 2 days of work. Yeah, 3 days on, 2 days off. Just 1 day off, 3 days on. Don't like that. We have a calendar, days and months of the year. I love that the January is called Diamond Ice by elves. Yellow willow, snowflowers, blossom violets, berry time, gold fields, sunflowers, fruit fall, bright leaf, tinkling ice, and lacy snows. Isn't that neat? So we get talked about climate and settings. There's our calendar. Now, here's a map that indicates where different races and different tribes came from. Hello, Kabuki. Good to see you. And as you can see, yes, Lake Superior right there. But this is an important map also. It is unfortunately smaller in the World of Greyhawk box set, which is what makes the Gazetteer so important. This is worth getting and adding to your Greyhawk collection from Drive-Thru-RPG. This whole PDF is available from Drive-Thru-RPG. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is a the weekend is definitely a labor union thing. The one single solitary thing I'll give labor unions is that they're why you're not working 6 days a week, or heaven forfend 6.5 days a week. You can go to church on Sunday morning. I'm going to need you in for the Sunday afternoon shift. Not that that has stopped modern businesses in line go up. I don't know that he will, Mike Wilson art. He's focusing on 2 realms that we already know about. But out here, look at the territory you have to play with. You want a race of kindly serpent folk? Stick them down here on one of these islands where they don't have to interfere with anything majorly in Greyhawk. You want a you want a land that is constantly shattered by civil war? How about up here in this snowy region right here? How about a land peopled entirely by storm giants across the sea here? You can do so much. You can do so much. Now, exactly how much space, because you got to remember, this are the Darlene maps, which we'll get to talking about those in a second. Those are our poster maps for Greyhawk. The rest of this space is almost certainly, although it's not linear, it's almost certainly as much space as those 2 poster maps. Oh, by the way, Dying Breed, I don't know if you heard me say, but one of our spin and giveaways will be for the Greyhawk folio. It's well loved, but it is all intact. It's not falling apart. But then here are different kingdoms and divisions and so on listed, political divisions. It goes on. So in this, we have gotten our view, our window into Greyhawk. We finally begin to see, this is the other, supplement 1 Greyhawk was was, Geno, Greyhawk in name only. The modules began to pull back the fog of war. Now, I want to stop right here real quick. Let's scroll back up so we've got something pretty to look at, or maybe scroll back down so we've got something pretty to look at. The modules were interesting because although the G and D series were, and S1 and S2 were ostensibly set in Greyhawk, the modules that Gary wanted to drive a thread through the stories of Greyhawk with were the WG series. The WG series. And I've talked about this before, but I'll mention this now. What was to have been WG1 was, anyone? Does anyone know? Does anyone know? What was WG1 to have been? What module was WG1 to have been? Now, no fair Googling. Let's see, what one is this? Oops, I took the cover of one. That's right. Bob Jester was the first. Bob Jester was the first, and Bob Jester, you take Dragon Magazine 76. Bob, drop me an email, and we'll get this sent out to you. I have a cover there. I've got to find out where that poor distressed magazine is now. Maybe get it a poly bag. We'll just put that right down in there. All right, so that is correct. WG1, the village of Hamlet, was given WG, or was given T1. But most interestingly, there was to have been a WG2, which was the Temple of Elemental Evil. And it was a two-parter. WG2 and WG3 were the Temple of Elemental Evil, the WG standing for World of Greyhawk. WG4 was to have been Lost Caverns of Sojkant. After that, we pick up the thread. WG5, Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun. WG6, Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure. WG7, Isle of the Ape. Now, WG8, 9, and so on, Gary was no longer at TSR when those were published. But our run of 7 great Greyhawk modules, no, all those environs would have been covered, Voice of One, in WG1 and WG2. Basically, we got a more fleshed out WG1 and WG2 in T1 to 4. I don't know if you have 76, Bob. If you do and you want to pass on it, that's up to you. But as of right now, it is yours. So with this set, as I'm sure you know, Gary had changed his well, there you go. Advanced Fantasy Games, good to see you. But with this set, we got the gorgeous Darlene map. Gary had more or less shaped his Greyhawk map like what he gave Darlene, but Darlene was the one who made it breathe. She brought, and I did a short on this. It was one of the earlier shorts I ever did, where I dropped a clip from Darlene where she explained, now I don't know why I think this is, but this might be of particular interest to Kabuki Kid if you're still out there listening here. Darlene, she was known by Darlene Peacoll at the time, had been to England and studied under the auspice of the royal calligrapher. Queen Elizabeth's royal calligrapher taught her calligraphy. What you are seeing on the Greyhawk maps was taught to her by Queen Elizabeth's cartographer. Doesn't that put your Greyhawk map just a notch above? And also, I should mention, that is available as a font. You can download the Darlene font. If you guys can't find it, ping me on social media and I will share it with you, because it's free to download. But someone did create a true type font of Darlene's lettering, and it's beautiful. I used it for some, when I finally started stepping up my thumbnail game a few years ago, I actually used the Darlene font. But all that is hand done. She laid out flat on a massive, massive canvas to draw this map. So we had our world map and we had our lore. Now, one thing we did not get was much in the way of dungeons. There's no adventures in here in the sense of kick in door, take gold, kill monsters. We have, I think this set, I'll have to double check, but I think this set does have adventure locations. I might be wrong. If someone wants to bust my chops on that. But we get some details. The Franz River, the Great Flood, the Harp River, the Neen River, and so on. Is that a song by Creedence Clearwater Revival? Come on down to Neen River, down, 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 down. But it tells you what's where, generally speaking. I'll have to scroll back up. I don't remember. There's geographical features, major cities and locations, and peoples and whatnot. Just going to scroll up. Okay. So the folio set does not give us the adventure locations, but that's okay. That's okay. We have a beautiful folder, and for a little while, this holds us. For a little while, this holds us. Alrighty, Bob. Now, as I say, guys, the modules, I do need postage on those. Please and thank you. So this is kind of lean on the ground. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but again, there's no real adventures in here. As if you needed a world of, or as if you needed individual modules when you got an entire adventuring world. But in 1982, oh, I sounded like Alex Hollings on the Firepower channel on YouTube. And this is what the Iranians were not expecting: deployment of a stealth Greyhawk module. If you know, you know. Alex, I love your stuff. Do I have it up here? Let's see. I thought I opened it. Silly me. Okay. So let's open. I've got a. Let's open those. And there's one half of our map. Look at that. The print on demand map is not great. I recommend tracking down the huge one. I've shared it plenty of times with you guys. You should all know about it by now. Jake, who's to say you can't merge them, my friend? I just showed you a massive section of map. You could plunk your whole campaign setting down in Western Uruk. But anyway, yes, track down the giant Greyhawk map. It's better than this. They did as good as they could, but that other one that is smoothed and flattened and a single piece, take that somewhere and get that printed. I'm sorry, Jake. Did I offend with that suggestion? I'm sorry. That was not my intention. Oh, that's tiny. That's T90. Yeah, Dying Breed, you've got to get that image. If you need it, hit me up like on X or Discord or something, and I'll send you the download link to it. The thing, it's like 120 meg JPEG that you can zoom down into. It is a vector graphic, not like a proper vector graphic file, but it is scanned at such high. Oh, I got a coffee and I didn't have the thing up. Dang it. But thank you, Bob. Thank you. I heard this symbol. I have this stupid thing up and I never get to see that thing light up. Okay. Now things get a little more exciting. Now we start to get a full meal. If Supplement 1 Greyhawk was a small order of fries, all of the modules, tapas, and the folio, a light lunch, this is a full dinner, a full 7-course meal. Almost immediately. So we get the box. We get the box set. I'm not going to try and pull the box set down. It is a beautiful gold box set, similar to the basic box sets. Let's slide this away for a second here. It's similar to the basic box sets. You guys can kind of see it up behind the live sign here. I need something better for that. I have an idea for the live sign, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet. But yes, it's this beautiful golden box, and it looks like this. In that box, we get 2 booklets. We get the catalog of the Flaness, the guide to the fantasy settings, a guide to the world of Greyhawk. Now I said 82, I meant 83. We got this in 83. So almost immediately, you know, when you open this box, there's two thick books. The thinner of the two outweighs the Gazetteer. But we are immediately steeped in Greyhawk lore. Eastern Uruk and the relations to the whole earth and heavenly bodies. We get our months again. Trees common to the Flannis. And then we get into a brief history of Eastern Uruk. Similar map, but smaller. This is why I say the folio one is better. Population distribution. Characteristics of the races inhabiting the Flannis. And this is where I love to point out your average character in the world of Greyhawk is going to look Hispanic. Your average person is going to look Hispanic in Greyhawk. I just adore that. Right there under Ardians. But it goes into explaining their dress, their mannerisms. We're getting so much. That's right, Kabuki. I'm not sure what. Does anybody know what Dungeons and Dragons would be in Spanish? I know when I did YouTube shorts about the dungeon board game, it was Calabozo, but I don't know what Dungeons and Dragons would be in Spanish. But we get languages, ancient and current languages. Now, our glyphs, we had glyphs in the back of the other one. Here, we get a little bit more. Calabozos y Dragones. I like it. But here, we start to see these major political divisions in Greyhawk really begin to be filled out. We start getting more we start getting more descriptions. And most importantly, Greyhawk, the free city of. Now, that was in the folio. I'm not saying that that this is that this is like previously unreleased information. Perrinland, On-Wall, Theocracy of the Pale. Maybe, Robert. It translated Dungeons and Dragons to Dungeons. Mazmoras. Ooh, that's intriguing. Would it be Calabozos or would it be Mazmoras? Fascinating. At any rate, we continue. And guys, this is all one, but we're on page 32. We have blown past the page count of the Gazetteer already. It goes on and on and on. We get into regional alignments. We have a little Punnett square of alignments. By the way, look for the torch symbol because neutral good is the goodest good. And this is helpful. This tells you what comes from where. Regional products, spices, metals, furs, lumber, ivory, foods, rare woods. Lawful good and lawful neutral should be switched. Is that a typo? Or are you just saying that that they should be, like, in your mind, that the symbols should be different? Yeah, I guess so. I guess lawful good is as the torch, and lawful neutral as the balance. No, I can definitely see that. So we're getting into descriptions of stuff. Woods, it's expanded. Wastelands, the land of black ice. By the way, all of the everybody, oh, Gary hated Dave and blah 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 blah. He gave Blackmore its own place in Greyhawk. I'm not saying they were best friends or anything. We get a huge section on what the Sea of Dust is. Jake Krause for the win. We all know lawful good is a goodest good, and the party paladin won't let the king. Yes, Am is saying we're talking Greyhawk. Yeah, we did an L3 deep or an L123 deep dive some months ago. By the way, Gonzalo, do I sound a little bit better? So I have to tattle on him a little bit. Last night in the game chat, Gonzalo was like, dude, you cannot go on like this tonight. This is not gonna work. I pushed through. I'll have to go back and listen to the recording to see how awful I sound. I hate listening to my own recordings. I have to make the shorts. I've come to terms with it. But so the Sea of Dust, which I think Susie and the Banshee sang about. Oh, your sea, it lies in dust. No, I don't think that's it. But we come to a very important point here. This is something that we have not gotten detailed. This is where we start getting into, oh, wow, so there is a lot more here. And we're to page 62. Again, one of these books, the thinner of these books, is outweighing the Greyhawk Gazetteer. We've already blown past the information. And I did do a deep dive of this. I'm not lingering too far here. But this is important because now we get into some numbers, the deities of the world of Greyhawk, the greater gods, the lesser gods, the demigods, who they are and what they are. Now, I think there's a little bit of organizational issue here. I think we should have gotten the numbers for these gods in with the descriptions. They're actually in the other manual. I can kind of understand it, but I kind of don't like it. So yeah, we get detailed out all the gods, how you should worship them. Then we're back to noble precedents and general honoraries. And then we have more heraldry in the book. Only ever seen it as dungeons. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things, like, I mean, I guess, like, I don't know, in Mexico they just say Star Trek, like Coca-Cola. I could be wrong. So that's the first book, and that clocks in at 80 pages. You're taking this out of the box back in 83. This is pretty impressive. And then we have the glossography, which is less pretend textbook and more, or I'm sorry, this is pretend textbook. It tells you how to read the map, which is very handy. And it takes the standpoint of, and Stephen Radney McFarlane was talking about this. The way he's doing Melf's Guide to Greyhawk is, this is the work of Pluffet Smedger the elder. His is the work of Pluffet Smedger the younger, his son. I don't disagree with you, Damien, but I do think all the stats should have been bolted together with the descriptives, because at this point you're like going back and forth between books. So this is really helpful. This kind of mirrors what you get in the Dungeon Master's Guide for travel, but it really gets specific to Greyhawk for rates of travel. I like that a lot. So you're getting that. Now, again, we're to something you don't get in the Gazetteer. What are you going to run into out there? Patrols and what they're made of. Random encounter tables. So it's no longer just what you have in the Dungeon Master's Guide. It's campaign specific for different types of terrain. And of course, this is a famous piece by Jeff Easley, Portrait of an Invisible Stalker. And here we get the rulers of Greyhawk. Now, this is kind of in the folio set. And to be certain, I'm not knocking the folio set as not complete. Although I will say the folio set is vastly superior, because this little map down here, and again, you guys will notice the line right there. That's more or less where I told you it was on the other one. This is the world of Greyhawk, not just this little box. I know, Steve, right? And then we get weather. You guys have seen me pull up the weather in the world of Greyhawk chart online before. Wind chill table determining terrain, that sort of thing for the world of Greyhawk. And I got to tell you guys, if you're talking about an Earth-like planet, you can use that for just about whatever. J Man, 1911 man. Don't bring your gun violence here, man. No, it's good to see you, J Man. But I mean, we got precipitation, we got all this stuff, special weather phenomena. You want a hurricane? You want an avalanche? Stuff like that? It's all here. You get the idea. Adventures in the world of Greyhawk. Now, this is vital, because Gary gives you a few module seeds. Hell, campaign seeds. Quest for the Mist Golem. The Werewolves of the Meadowwood. Lost Passage of the Sulwa. The Stolen Seal. The Copper Raider. Worst quality copper ever, by the way. Now, this is one that I love. All good dungeon masters should at the very least have a copy of this page. Hello, Thetan 302. Or is that the Van? I created a whole module that sits in the Sea of Dust. It's called the Lost, I'm sorry, it's called Temple of the Sun. WGH2 Temple of the Sun is set in the Sea of Dust. Yes, it is. Your setting is inspired by the North Woods of Minnesota, dense, mostly deciduous woods, broken up by grassy tundra-esque plains with lakes and rivers. What's a Greyhawk analog? Setting aside the sci-fi weirdness, Blackmore. Also, you could go to Western Auric for that. But yeah, I would definitely say Blackmore. What's north of Ayuz? I don't have the map in front of, I do have the map in front of me. I'm a ding dong. Yeah, the Bernial Forest, the Tiger Nomads, Blackmore, the Cold Marshes. If you want to go a little further east, the Hold of Stonefist or Ratic. Any of those. Rovers of the Barrens, the area around White Fang Bay, the Duchy of Ten, perhaps. I would say any of those locations. But speaking of locations, this is where all of the map or all of the adventures published so far that are Greyhawk specific take place. It gives you the hex, the exact hex where you can put them as a dungeon master. Now, this is really cool. You can roll dice to determine where a human character was born. Someone asked me to put that in Crom, but Crom is for the core rule books. And while I have said before that I feel like the core rule books are the Greyhawk game, I did want to leave enough flexibility. I didn't want to like, dude, I'm using your game for my homebrew. Telling me my character was born in the prelacy of Elmore does not help. Agile Monk, good to see you. Because he's an agile monk. All right. Birthplaces for demi-humans. Personages and quasi-deities. Oh, and we get the comeliness stat. Yeah, I missed the window on that graph paper. I should have done a whole fake thing, just like mocked up something in the code, like, you know, call it Crom with a K. Kinder Organizational Man or Kinder Record Organizational Management. I'll do it next year. Oh, you're gonna go game Kabuki? That's awesome. Have fun. Slay monsters. Win gold. Woo! Did you know that comeliness was a stat that was originally given in the World of Greyhawk box set? In 1983, TSR released the World of Greyhawk box set. This included several new locations and locales given for campaign settings, but also, most importantly, in the Greyhawk Gazetteer, it listed comeliness as a stat that could be added to characters. I should do that. I should make that a YouTube short. Kinder character generation. I love it. But anyway, yeah, so we get our deities and our demigods. Copyright pending. And these are beings that were mostly listed. So in the other setting, and then there's an appendix. So there's our there is Greyhawk. Now, I want to address the reason that we went so hard in the paint on this. The reason we went so hard in the paint on this was because someone, and I'm not vehement, I'm not going to say, oh, go get this person, but they said Greyhawk wasn't really anything other than a map and some names. And I don't agree with that. Like a great many things that Gary did a lot of people tended to look at Gary's stuff saying, well, it's minimalist. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have enough stuff in it. You didn't tell us enough in G1, Standing in the Hill Giant Chief. It's only 8 pages, for crying out loud. You know, where are our additional campaign supplements for the World of Greyhawk, Gary? Why aren't there more? And the reality is, he doesn't give you too little. He gives you just enough. Now, this may raise some ire, and I'm not intending to campaign setting war. But you do get a good meaty campaign setting here. And it gives you enough to build on. It is more than just a map and some place names. It is vastly more. Yes, RX Mouton 5595. That's a mouthful. I'm just going to call you a prescription. But yeah, it fills in enough that a new dungeon master can say, okay, all right, I can do this. You can move things around without breaking things. You really can. You're not really beholden to anything. Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, they really tie you hard to the lore. And it's not that's not necessarily a good thing. And this is why, if we circle back around, this is why I'm guardedly optimistic about Melf's Guide to Greyhawk, and why it is so vital that they get it right. Now, I saw someone mention somewhere, well, you already see what they did to Queen Yolanda. And yes, I did. But that's, guys, unlike watching Rings of Power and all it's done, or that upcoming the Odyssey film and what it's doing, you can simply say, well, no, this is what they look like, and then it's your campaign, as opposed to a DVD you might own and be like, oh, I have to suffer through this. I think that's a valid question, Bob. You have 100 years of Greyhawk campaign material already. Why would you need more? I am interested in seeing what Luke would do. I'm interested in seeing if this kicks off an actual renaissance of old school style ideas at Wizards of the Coast, and they genuinely make an apology. Jay Tyler asking an important question. In the beginning, didn't Gary think that each DM would create their own maps and worlds and settings, etc.? Yes, Gary did think that. Gary thought that DMs wouldn't be interested in what TSR published. Why would people want someone else to design a campaign for them? And the answer really, it lies in all the modules that he wanted to sell that he claimed people didn't want to buy either. I mean, if I sell you a guitar and a Mel-based songbook and you learn to play, you can write infinite music. If I just sell you a collection of albums, you've got to listen to what's there. But guys, I'm here to tell you there's so much good music being played professionally. I was wondering what ID&D was. Did I miss something? Informative? Inspirational? But the problem was, Bob, we heard the stories from conventions where Gary ran his canned adventures and people wanted that. And Bob, I can tell you straight up that the designer of Melf's Guide to Greyhawk, who has been on this show, has said it is AD&D only when it comes to beings. Humans, halflings, half-elves, elves, dwarves, half-orcs, gnomes. That's it. No furry races. No furry races is the clarion. Is intermediate D&D, yes. First through third levels, and then wait, this is for 6th through 10th? Where's the intervening 3? You want the ID&D set. That's what Mentor did. Well, you've got basic, and you've got expert, and you've got extra chunky mango salsa expert, cool ranch expert. I have never seen anyone with those box sets. By the way, there is a loose set of booklets, the companion set, and one other thing. I'll have to look up, but when we get to them, they'll be drawn for. Shared Adventures gives the community something fun to compare. But exactly, I agree with you, Rob. Rob Turner, quiet. Nobody asked you. I'm kidding, man. I guess I shouldn't say I don't. It's the actual boxes. Like, if you have all of them complete, that's a feat. Yes, I know they're Beck-Me rules. Your kobolds are draconic. I'm halfway there. I think they have wiry hair and dog-like features, but lizard scales. You want to try old school, but you got your players. Oh, Jake. No. Bad. No. Your friend swore by Beck-Me. That's so coincidental and interesting. I swear at Beck-Me. Stupid freaking game. Be more interesting. You do gold for XP. Okay, Jake. Okay. That's terrible. Just terrible. I'm not here to give anyone any grief about the D&D that they like. Well, fine. I'm happy to. Yeah, don't bring Father Aaron in here. I'll have to go to confession. And I'm an indeterminate Protestant. In the AD&D DM's guide, you have to fill out your own powers for relics. Also, wasn't there an adventure that left blanks for certain locations? B1. 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 Oh, we have a bingo. Mrs. Carlson. Yes, it was In Search of the Unknown that had you filling out stuff. Also, B3. B3 had you do that. You sank my battleship. Did I Slav today? Not so much, you know. Oh, did I slay today? That's different. I, all right. I'm going to put it out there on display. What you terrible people are thinking of. I'm talking about I'm talking about my opinion. Does she have a rug on her wall, Rob? does she have like a big carpet hanging on her wall somewhere in her house? Slav over a hot stove. Hey, I'm making kvass. Oh, it's end of month. just put on some Slavic hard bass. I don't listen to Slavic hard bass often, but when I do, so do my neighbors. And I don't know how we got here. No, I'm gonna state right now, the reason I don't prefer the Moldvay Cook, and absolutely not the Menser, the rules compendium, the 5 boxes. The reason I don't prefer those is even though they have their roots in original D&D, we lost a lot of the flavorful stuff. Demons gone, assassins gone, paladins, no paladins. And I know that paladins and monks, I think, were added as a weird, like mechanically, this is just not even in my wheelhouse in the rules cyclopedia. Like, you could become a paladin, I think, if you were like a lawful fighter, but you could only do it after you hit like 17th level or something like that. But it felt like so much flavor and texture and edge and grit was washed out that by the time I got my hands on a rules cyclopedia, it read like fantasy stereo instructions to me. It was like the Ben Franklin store of fantasy material. It didn't pop. It didn't have verve. I liked facing monsters that were chaotic evil and might melt you with their mind. And I just like, it's just a little too light and fluffy for me. Like, there's not enough meat on those bones. So that's kind of why when I say I love AD&D first edition overall, and I mean people are like, "Oh yeah, 1E, 2E, that's I see 2E is so ballardized, you know? It's like everybody got to have Stevie Nicks hair, put the women into peasant dresses, don't talk about, you know, the drow torture and drug parlors or half orcs, they're gone. So I always assumed the monk in D&D in AD&D was Little John from Robin Hood, you know? Like friar with a robe and a quarterstaff. And I'll be honest too, it's the presentation. I loved the fact that we had a high Gygaxian. We proceeded apace with high Gygaxian in first edition. So I guess that's just kind of where I'm at. And I don't hate it. Like I don't castigate it. I tease about it a little bit. But I mean, if you ask me, um, okay, Bill, set aside first edition ADD. We know you love it. You're not cheating on her. Tell us which versions of basic you like. Um, for verve and grit, there's those words again. I know. I like Holmes basic, but for usability, if you said, let's play a basic, Bill, please, we're begging you. There's 10 of us, there's one of you. We vote for basic. Um, I would then say Moldvay Cook Basic Expert. Because it's everything just in the two books. It doesn't bring in a bunch of extraneous stuff. I mean, I feel like Frank Mintzer further washed and bleached the the color and texture out of D&D. But I, you know, I keep a magenta and turquoise box set, and and now that I have them, I always will. I don't turn my nose up at them. If I went to a con and somebody was running a game in that, I'm like, there's an open seat here. I want to play a game. Can I sit down and play? Cool. I do it. Jake, I love Holmes Basic, okay? I do. Even even though, respectfully speaking, Dr. Holmes was a weird beard when it came to his rules interpretations. Every side has decks. No, no, they don't. They really don't. Now, with that said, my first D&D, as I've said before, was just a copy of Keep on the Borderlands and a set of dragon dice. And it the copy of B2 that I got was geared for Holmes Basic, not for Moldvay Basic. When I bought it off the shelf, it was for Holmes Basic. So I kind of question mark started learning AD&D right then, right there. Now, I remember years ago I discussed with someone on Greyhawk. They talked about this absolutely glorious, horrific mashup that sounded amazing. Dude had spent years refining his basic expert. He had the Moldvay Cook basic expert, but he converted the Monster Manual monsters in that he had to, had psionics, had demons and devils, and ran it in Greyhawk. So he basically ripped out the AD&D engine, and he did an LS swap. For those of you who are gearheads out there, you know what I'm talking about. He did an LS swap on the World of Greyhawk set. By the way, we're at 9781. We are 19 away from 89 from 9800. 19 away from 9800. Got the 3.5 basics. Now let me tell you something, guys. If you want cheap pre-painted mini, go out there and buy up when Wizards of the Coast. Like, keep an eye on what do you call it? Not Wegmans. Crap. Their discount store, you guys know the one I'm talking about. But when Wizards of the Coast screws up and they accidentally their board games, go there and buy like D&D board games for $5, you know, $100 D&D board games for $5, and harvest the minis. Toss the box sets or take them to Goodwill, but harvest the minis. Ollie's, thank you. Thank you. Didn't the Pathfinder 1E box set come with minis too? I don't know. Pathfinders were, I mentioned this over on X a couple of weeks ago. It's like, I'm like, man, when it comes to D&D, just forget modern D&D. 1E forever. And then after somebody's like, hell yeah. I'm like, hell yeah. And they're like, hell yeah, first edition Pathfinder. I'm like, get away from me. Find your path. I'll practice you. Is that a threat? What does that even mean? Oh, cardboard minis. Okay. I thought maybe it came with, but then Cobalt was Paizo, not Cobalt. Paizo was scrambling when they were getting Pathfinder out. So. Oh, gosh. Sorry, I'm just a little tired. I've been getting good sleep lately. We started minis by painting Hero Quest figurines. Very cool. You know what I started doing, and I was actually really enjoying it, but then I stopped, was it may be on the shelf over there somewhere. I started dolling up a D&D minis, just like a basic fighter dude, to make make an actual adventure. Like, I want this to be my character's mini adventuring guy with just like a basic fighter dude mini. Got a fever. The only cure is metal minis. I've got a high IQ, and the only cure is lead minis. Lead will tell that. Yes, it will. You're pleased to say you have a BX, the 2 box sets, and original version still in shrink wrap. That's awesome, but Agile Monk. Come here. Come here. How do you know there's books in there? How do you know that somebody at the TSR packaging didn't just throw in like a couple of copies of Time, a couple copies of People, and some loose pebbles. You'll never know. Is it actual basic or is it just a bunch of junk? You'll never know. They'll sit there on your shelf forever. Are there real D&D books in there? Oh my gosh, what if someone at TSR got cute and packaged a copy of Lost Caverns of Sojkonth, the tourney edition in there? You don't know. Seal the lead minis with lead-based paint. Retro problems require retro solutions. I mean, yeah, well. Has anyone talked about the time when the TSR time capsule be opened? I hadn't heard that, graph paper. That's like there's alpha copies of and there's literally there's like 4 in existence known of wood grain original D&D sets that they packaged and shrink wrapped, but they did not put covers on. They were literally used for weight and layout and so on testing. So there's something in there. But if you have a shrink wrapped wood grain OD&D set that they did not put the stickers on, that's to the right collectors. That is the arms of Venus de Milo. That is the original Constitution or the original Declaration of Independence. But as I said, who knows what's in there? Copies of Reader's Digest, blank paper, a Gideon's Bible. Unless you open it, you'll never know. Although for something like that, I would ask around and see if there was if I had the kind of scratch to have that, to like buy it, I would take it to a place that does imaging and be like, I want to see what's in this box. Fluoroscope it. No, don't MRI it. Those little staples, those metal staples just go flying through the box. $10,000 for those shrink wrapped alphas? No. Gary Gygax's beard trimmings, $5,000. No low ballers. I know what I got. Yeah, do not MRI them. Do not MRI them. All right, so we're up on the back half of the hour. We had a lovely talk about Greyhawk and about what Greyhawk is and what it is not and why it is awesome and why it is vital. But now we need to talk about the GUOGC. Now we need to talk about the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention. We need to talk about that. Guys, it is upon us. It starts a week from tomorrow. We are 8 days away from the GUOGC. We have our lineup of panelists. I'm still waiting on 1 or 2 confirmations, but I can tell you that we will have Richard Witters, Tracy Lesh, Alyssa Hazel, Sky Hernstrom. I'm still waiting to hear from Heidi and Eric. I know they said they wanted to do something, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting to hear from Heidi and Eric. Stephen Radney McFarlane. He's going to run a game and he's going to do the Shit Steven Says panel. This is going to be a lot of fun. So it may be that you've gotten to this point, because I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, "Hey, you've been in the news lately. What's going on with your gaming con? How do I get there? How do I do it?" All right, Arion Omanari, here we go. It is a Discord server where we are having a virtual convention that will run from Thursday of next week to Sunday of next week. We have built-in channels in the Discord server where you will go and play your games. How your DM chooses to run a virtual tabletop is up to them, but this is the central gathering point where you will play at. It is free to play. We do have merch. The Dungeon Minister is doing our merch. Let me show you guys what our logo this year is. Where is it? I thought I had it here on the desktop. I don't want to upgrade Steam Deck. Please don't bother me with that. Stream Deck, rather. I have a cool little box that I got that so I can push buttons real quick and change things around. Where is my logo? You know what? I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab it. You have your original Tractix set. That's awesome. You know, it's all there. That's very cool. Tractix is still in print, by the way. That is not unobtainium. You can actually get Tractix these days. It's not in the cool wooden box. But then again, who does? There we go. I found it. Okay. So here's the logo for the convention. And then I'm going to take you guys on a tour of the convention space. You have the 74 wooden box. I got one right here. We're going to be auctioning one at the con, by the way. That is a reproduction, by the way. But you can still have one. There's our convention logo. Little Black Sabbath Masters of Reality. Oh, that's right, Michael Connor. You don't. GUOGC merch can be purchased from the Dungeon Minister. Now, he very kindly has all of the previous year's merch on his page. I don't know that he has this year's logo up yet. But there's our logo. Now let's go and let's check out the Discord. And it's my Discord. It's a nice Discord. It belongs to me, not to anyone else. Okay, so let me take you over to the GUOGC. And I will share up the URL real quick here. Dungeon Minister is without peer. I love the guy. I love the guy. He's really awesome. I haven't heard yet what's going on with that situation. I was not the financially aggrieved party in that, so that is between them. All I can do is defend my territory and say that the GUOGC belongs to me and me alone. And no, I don't have volunteers. No one is coordinating with me on this. It is mine and mine alone. It belongs to me. Anyone who tells you otherwise, anyone who tells you they're an organizer or this or that with the GUOGC is not telling you the truth. All right, so here we go. I'm going to put the Discord link up there. Okay, so you come to the Discord and you will see that I need to close that window. When you come to the Discord, you are registered for the con. Congratulations, you're there. How you find games to play in. Come over to convention announcements. Or I'm sorry, convention events. Scroll up through the lists of games. Watch the timestamps on them, by the way. I really should start clearing convention events year to year. You don't want to go so far back that you wind up signing up for a game for last year's, because that won't help you. Look at the games. These are not in chronological order, by the way. You kind of have to look at the dates and times. It's sort of a cork board. And you want, when you find something you want, oh, there we go. Let's see. You want to click the green check. That's it. That's how you register for a game. It's that simple. You do that, congratulations, you're registered. Find one that I'm not registered for. When you do that, Sesh, the bot that coordinates on the Discord, will send you a little private message telling you that you're signed up for it. Now, Chrome using Dungeon Delver fan, is there a place to familiarize oneself with server roles and how to run a game? Yes, there is. It is very simple. What you do is let me know if you want to be a game master. And who is this? One mutual server. Let me know that you want to run a game. Oh, God of the Robots. There you go. And I will make you a game master. Congratulations, you're a game master. It's that easy. But once you have game master powers, how do you set your game up? I will show you. What you're going to do, and you can do this in any room. It's probably just easier if you do it in events so you can see it go live. But if you don't want to, that's fine. You type / create title. And then date time. Date time is very loosey-goosey. It's very smart about what it wants. So I will do 4/12 and let's see if it'll take that. All right, I have created an event. Gamma World, Legion of Gold. It set it to 12 p.m. Obviously, that's not correct. So I would have to come in and change that. But that's it. That's how you create your game. It's that easy. Once you're set up as a game master, and that is probably Sesh telling, yes. An event that you had created is now deleted. It's that easy, guys. It is that easy. You do not have to do anything other than that. Oh, we have a super that I missed. You hide my current comment. Thank you, Agile Monk. Thank you very much. So, guys, it's just that simple. It's that easy. You do not have to. You literally don't have to do anything more complex than that. There is one other thing I do want to show you, though. We'll go back. Let's get back over to the convention, though. Actually, let me do this while I navigate back over to the con. And you guys can let me know if you need that con URL again. All right. How do you get to your games? That's an important one, right? That one's pretty important. How do you get to your games? Well, that is simple. If you guys can't see that. If you look, I have event rooms. There's a general event room, but that's not for games. I have event rooms 1 through 9. Don't worry, I can add as many as I need. Let's go ahead. At the appropriate time for your game, I will choose a room for you. And don't worry, these are all equal. It's not like a con space where you got to walk over here, then you got to walk over there, then you got to head over to this ancillary building, then you got to go to that auxiliary ballroom. So let's call this, let's just say I was doing Gamma World. So I save changes. On midnight, at midnight on Sunday, you'd come over here and you'd say, oh, look, there it is. And then you click on the link. And now you're in voice. You can open the chat. And now you're in the room. That's it. It's that easy. You have a die roller. Oh, I'm going to have to turn off the overlay there. There's a die roller. Your game master will be in here. They can share screens and do all sorts of other Discord-y stuff. But that's it. You don't have to use a camera. Your game master may not even require you to do voice. But it's literally that simple, guys. That's how you do it. Rob Turner, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. It's all digital. You would expect a minimum of walking. Yes. The only thing you have to spend money on at the con is if you want to enter the auction, bid on the original D&D reproduction set, or if you want to buy some merch. Any snacks or anything, that's up to you and your own budget. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of there and rename that, lest anyone think I'm suddenly running a Gamma World game. And then let's go back to general. And we'll just rename that. No, I didn't. Leave. Edit channel is what I wanted. And that's it, guys. That's literally it. So for those of you waiting, willing, and ready to join in on the GUOC, that's all you have to do. It's free. It's always been free. Is the con merch up for sale yet? No, I need to ping Father Aaron and get that cooking. Tomorrow night we're going to do some more deep divey kind of D&D. I enjoyed actually talking about D&D stuff again tonight, other than just BSing about things. I do have to I do kind of have to share this with you though on our way out, because I think this is funny. Hello, Agile Monk. Agile Monk, do you want to run a game? Do you want me to make you a game master right now, Agile Monk, before we leave? Let me know and I will do that. Anyway, so the round and round with YouTube, it never stops. All right. So if you upload a video, particularly a short, to YouTube, it grades whether or not it's going to push your video out based on initial watch time. Like, did people quit the video and swipe away, or did they watch it to the end? And if so, how many people watched it to the end? Maybe you only got like 30% retention or 20% retention. Well, that's bad. It's not going to push it. I didn't even see what he said. I just saw he started going on about something, and he's not welcome here anymore. So I just deleted it. I just deleted it because he's not welcome here anymore. Can't or won't, Dying Breed. Can't or won't. All right, roles. Game Master. You are now a Game Master, Agile Monk, if you'd like to run something. All right, so I uploaded a short today, the second one I uploaded. And I looked, and after like a couple of hours, it had 42 views. I was like, what in the name of God? And I looked at the retention. That is how many people watched it beginning to end. My shorts are like less than 30 seconds long. It's a blip vert, if you guys remember your Max Headroom. Well, Dying Breed, that's why I'm happy to talk about today's sponsor, NordVPN. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But so if you do well, YouTube goes, fewer people are swiping away from that. Let's push it. Let's put it in more feeds. Let's promote it. And then you see your numbers go up. And then if people start to swipe away after it gets out of that testing phase, you'll see it. It'll do a logarithmic curve. Now, there is a case where your engagement on a video or a short can be so good, apparently, that the YouTube algorithm, if you're a small creator, will go, well, I don't believe that. I'll trickle it out there, but I don't believe it's doing that good because you're just a small fry. I don't believe you. The second short I released today, which was, I've got to see this because this is so annoying. Let me look at content here. Ah, yes, TSR Catacomb Solo Adventures. For hours today, the engagement was at 100%. About 100 people watched it, and everyone stayed beginning to end. And everyone who watched it liked it. YouTube doesn't like that from small fries. YouTube tanked the video. It fit every criteria for a successful video. But YouTube's algorithm said, that's good, but that's too good. You might be botting responses. I'm not going to show that to anybody. We'll see if it's real watch time. I'm not putting that. I'm not promoting that. You might have botted that. I did a video under 30 seconds long that was 100% engaged by everyone who engaged with it, and 100% likes by everyone who clicked on it. And son of a bitch, if that wasn't too good. Son of a bitch, if YouTube's reaction was not to say, no, man, that's too good. I lost an argument with a toaster today. Oh, no, we're not suppressing the video. No. It's so good. We're really keeping an eye on it. I'm like, so what you're saying is, if I had gotten, say, 60% engagement on it, you would have let it breathe. You would have let it go out into the world. Well, yeah. So my video, by every criteria that you gave me to make a short video in, was a success, but it was too successful. Yeah. I fucking hate that son of a bitch. It's like an official coming out and saying, the ball went through the uprights. There is no foul on the play. However, the kicking team is really good, and they only had to kick that ball from the 50. Therefore, no goal, replay the down. The kicking team will kick from their own 20. And of course, the ball falls on the field somewhere at the 30-yard line. This is being a D&D YouTuber of small repute, guys. This is what this is. Oh, mercy. Lord of mercy. Yeah, exactly. There's no way a small content creator could ever produce a video that is extremely good. I don't even know. I don't even know. I just have to laugh at this point, or I'll have a nervous breakdown. Anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you so very, very much for hanging out on the live stream. I do appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow night. We will do some more TTRPG deep dive information. Hey, you never know when I'm going to do a drawing on a copy of Dragon Magazine. So stay, split the uprights, no good. So stick around, tune in for those. I will see you guys tomorrow evening at 9:00, and we'll have a good time. But you know who doesn't judge me? You know who doesn't force me to an algorithm? He's my friend, the Owl Bear. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.